So you're in this seat now. You're marching through sort of the forest. What's the vision of where you want Nakamoto to end up, right? Like, if you could say, if we hit this, we've arrived, like we have succeeded, at least in our first phase. What does that look like?
It's a tough question to answer because our vision for Bitcoin is boundless. Like until 100% of Starbucks coffees sold on Mars are paid for with Bitcoin, we haven't hit,
Total TAM.
the full potential of where we're going. And so you can't even buy a Starbucks coffee in the United States yet with Bitcoin, much less on Mars. So we got a long ways to go. And, our team is young. I mean, I'm 35, Tyler's 34. We're going to be running this company. Like,
I'm 30.
You're just turned 30, yeah.
Yeah, I'm over the hill. I'm 30 now. There's a pre-handle.
Now you're an old man in this industry. So, we have 30 plus years, and maybe if technology gets better, we have 40, 50 years of like great years to go operate this company. We can build a Goliath in 50 years. So like, okay, where do I want to be when I die? If I were to borrow Warren Buffett's phrase, what do I want my obituary to say? It's that we built the world's biggest, most iconic Bitcoin company that every person on the planet has heard of. And we've created enormous wealth for the world and our shareholders, at least in the hundreds of billions. I'd be disappointed if it's not in that, especially with inflation, how it's going in 50 years. If it's not in the trillions of dollars, honestly, we failed. Yeah. So created trillions of dollars of wealth and propelled Bitcoin to becoming the reserve asset of humanity. So that's where I want us to get to in 50 years. And so there's going to be lots of iterations of this company. I mean, I think someone told me every successful company dies and is reborn at least 5 times over its journey. So we've had a couple of rebirths as a company already.
We have. Yeah.
I think Nakamoto is a major new era, and there'll be several new eras along the way from where we're at now. But we basically have what we've always wanted. I mean, we have a great operating company with great people that creates great products with unlimited capital and a mission and a vision that is bold and ambitious. And we kind of have all the tools we need to go make it happen. And now it's just kind of the easy part, do it.
just got to execute. Yeah. Well, it's a fun place to be too, when you have this arm that builds the community, that's building the movement. And there's kind of Nakamoto's whole goal is just everyone come on board. It's like everyone join us as we try and create, the biggest, best Bitcoin company in the world.
I think I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about it for opening remarks here at the conference. And, when I think about the underlying ethos of this company, it's always been built around, we're going to make this happen. We're going to make Bitcoin happen. You don't know about Bitcoin? Well, guess what? We've created this product. We're going to give it to you. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you to learn about Bitcoin and answer all your questions about Bitcoin so that you have no excuse not to be on the board with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You're a crypto company and Bitcoin's a big part of your market, but you don't really know how to support the Bitcoin industry or what products you want. Okay, we're going to build a Bitcoin conference. We're going to gather the entire industry, and we're going to make sure that the entire industry knows that where the money is in Bitcoin, and that you need to build products for Bitcoin, and you need to build utility for Bitcoin, and that's where you need to grow your business, and you have no excuse for not doing it now. When we created a hedge fund, it's okay, we're not just going to tell you to go sign up on Coinbase and let you not complete the process. We're going to create a vehicle. We're going to put the materials in front of you. We're going to get you to sign the dotted line and wire over the money. We're going to buy the Bitcoin for you. And now you're along on the journey. And, now with Nakamoto, Bitcoin's now on the balance sheet of corporations, but we're not going to wait for you to put it on your own balance sheet. We're going to go on offense again, and we're going to bring Bitcoin to the capital markets, and we're going to force every company to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and we're going to underwrite people putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and we're going to make it so simple that every corporation around the world wants Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and so simple that every investor around the world can get Bitcoin exposure with a single click, without even a single click, through just the indexes they're already in.
Yeah, I was gonna say passive flows are gonna be directed into Bitcoin. Like,
So it's just like
we're hijacking
offense.
the financial
It's just,
system.
Yeah, we're just hijacking the financial system. First, we hijack people's attention. Second, we hijack the industry. Like, then we hijacked investor capital. Now we're hijacking the capital markets. And next, we're gonna hijack the central banks. And we're going all the way until every central bank and every government and every corporation on this entire effing planet owns Bitcoin.
Simple as that.
Yeah, as well as that, yeah. No, so, but I guess, I mean, now I want to tirade, but so the ethos of Nakamoto is really a continuation of the underlying ethos of what we've been building the past 13 years, but now just applied in a different environment and market.
Yeah.
And in a bigger scale.
Yeah, and a level up. Well, that's amazing. You know, before we sort of wrap the conversation, I'm curious, you know, you look around, we're at Bitcoin Amsterdam 2025.
Y'all pulled it off.
This has been a good conference.
No, it's been great.
Yeah.
Feedback has gotten us the best one yet.
Yeah. And, you know, you get to kind of like join these movement moments, right? These parts where you get a Schelling point, the community comes together. I tell people all the time, like, we leverage the heck out of these conferences. You know, like, our goal is not to throw a conference, right? It's to bring people together.
It's a beachhead.
So that we can move Bitcoin forward in some way.
Yeah, the Allied soldiers didn't land on Normandy for afternoon tea. You know, it's like they had an agenda and they had a plan, and like it was like the beachhead. And so these conferences are beachheads to spread not just Bitcoin awareness and adoption, but to inspire people to leave here and to go out into places that they live and evangelize and build and spread Bitcoin.
And sometimes to bring people here who have a lot of leverage in and of themselves, right? And so I guess, you know, as you look forward to next year, the next 18 months really for Nakamoto, tell me about like how you want to steer this company, this airship that you talked about, right? You know, the aircraft carrier?
Aircraft carrier.
Sorry, not an airship.
It would blow an airship out of the fucking sky.
Yeah. No chance. How do you want to steer this aircraft carrier? And I guess maybe, you know, to layer in one thing to that, you put out some tweets recently talking about, oh, there could be troubles in the credit markets. You know, maybe we're on the brink of something big in the financial system. Bitcoin was built for these moments, right? How do you look at sort of the next 18 months, what you want to accomplish, what you're on the lookout for, what you see for Bitcoin? Take it in any direction you want.
Well, this is a complex topic. I won't get into like why I think we could be on the edge of a macro or broader market liquidity or credit crisis. But there's, you know, just go Google search those terms. You'll find lots of, go ask ChatGPT. It'll give you lots of feedback about why. You know, I think Bitcoin is still a very immature asset. How Bitcoin responds in a macro credit or a macro economic crisis today, I don't think it's how it will respond in the future. And I think we're still in a place where in some ways, like, the tail wags the dog, and the tail still is like the central banks and the fiat monetary system.
Well, you keep seeing, like, even today in very small, like, oh, the tariff issue with China, right? Or some sort of trade war. Bitcoin's the first to react. It's the first to recover, right? You know, like, it still is, it's almost like where the market change is felt first, right?
Well, it's the freest market.
Yeah.
So you're going to see information be broadcast fastest from the market that is freest. It's a good phrase.
That is.
That's a good phrase.
Just coin that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copyright 2025. So yeah, I do think it's like a broader, like, canary in the coal mine, like, indicator of what global liquidity. You know, how I think about that from the perspective of Nakamoto right now. You know, in the tweet you're referencing, I said I shorted a bank. You know, I personally did that.
Yeah.
You know, one day when we're big cheese ballers, we'll just take a little bit of Nakamoto's balance sheet. We'll go enter in like $1 billion short on some financial institutions. We'll let them know how it feels.
Yeah. Got a couple in mind?
Yeah, I do actually. But I think right now the way that I'm thinking about this is like, if you had pre-warning that FTX was going to blow up, and it was going to take down Genesis, and it was going to take down all of the collateral damage that blew up around it, what would you have done 6 months before it in order to safeguard and protect yourself from that type of event.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, rule number one is don't lose Bitcoin. So that's kind of like the wartime mindset that we bring when we see market conditions like this is like, okay, who are our counterparties? Where is all of our Bitcoin? Who are all of our custodians? How are those custodians companies structured themselves, and what type of obligations and liabilities
Exposure.
do they have?
Yeah.
There's all sorts of ways that you can like explain away your worries, like, oh, we're using a tri-party bankruptcy remote account, and so we're safe. It's like, if you drill into the details, which like survival and like life and death all comes down to the details. There's thriving and dying is just a little detail about like what your internal body temperature is,
Yeah.
So it's like if you're in a tri-party account that's bankruptcy remote, but the platform that's providing that solution goes bankrupt, you're still going to be part of that bankruptcy estate's bankruptcy process, and you have lost possession of your money for a very extended period of time, and you're probably going to have to pay a lot of legal bills to defend why your bankruptcy remote agreement holds up in the context of whatever shit show unfolded at your custodian. Probably it holds up, maybe not. I've seen plenty where they said it was bankruptcy remote and then it turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
So,
better to just not get in that situation.
Exactly.
In the first place.
So it's like, okay, well, who are the custodians? Can we split it up across more custodians? Does that actually help us? What banks are we using? How much cash do we have in each bank? Are we underneath our FDIC insured limits? If we're not, are we have money in money markets with different limits? There's
a lot to think about.
Yeah, all the things that can go wrong, you have to anticipate them before they become relevant, because you're not able to react to them once they're relevant.